Kiddushin daf Yud Aleph. How's everybody doing? Another wonderful daf with a sikum, a synopsis in hopefully 8 minutes. According to Ravina, according to everybody, when a regular Yisraelis gets engaged, she's in Arusa, stage 1 of marriage, midiraisa, she gets engaged to a kohen, she could eat truma, even though she's only engaged. So how come she doesn't eat truma nowadays? Because there's a gzeiras chachamim, and there's machlekes what the gzeira is. According to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, who makes a kavachomer from a shivcha, by shivcha, we're not concerned for simfain. Simfain, what's that? Anything that cancels a shtar, a marriage, is called a simfain. In case of, let's say, a woman, she's engaged, she eats truma. You cancel the engagement. Retroactively, she shouldn't have been eating truma, and she was over the isser. And by shivcha, the same thing applies. If you cancel the contract, the purchase, then she shouldn't have been eating truma that entire time. But according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, the concern is not simfain, the concern is ula. We're concerned that if she's still living by her parents' house and she receives a gift from her chassan, which is truma, she might give it and share it with her brothers and sisters. And they'll be over Issa Deraisa. Ben Bagbaz says no. By a shivcha, there's no chashash for simfain. He says, let's figure this out ourselves. What's the concern? That when he sees the shivcha and he sees that she has a mum, he'll retract the sale. Well, think about it. He saw what she looks like. If it was something visible to the naked eye, then he accepted it. If it's something he couldn't see, what does he care? He's not marrying her. Elomai, she's a ganav, she's a kidnapper, she's a kuvyustos. Rashi says it's a kidnapper, according to Taisvas, a gambler. Well, guess what? Most avadim are ganavim, kuvyustos. So that can be a good reason to cancel the sale. What about a person who they said he must die? He did something terrible. The king said, we have to kill him. Off with his head. Or he's an armed robber. That he didn't know? Well, he should have known. There's a koil. Everybody hears about these things. Now, but both according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira and Ben Bagbag, they both hold that in our days she doesn't need truma. One for this reason, one for that reason. So, but where's the nafkamina between the two? Says the Gemara in 3 cases. Kibel, Mosar, Halach. Kibel means that the chassan accepted upon himself no matter what, any moment in the world, he's going to marry her. That gets rid of the problem of simfain. You can't say, oh, I saw a mom, I don't want to marry her. You already accept it. But the problem of being in a parent's house and feeding her brother still exists. The other two, though, Masav halach, are very similar. When the father gave his daughter over to the shliach, go get married, she already left the house, or the shliach gives over to another shliach, but this girl is out of the house, so there's no concern that she might feed her siblings, but there's still a concern that the chassan sees her, he'll see a mom and he won't want to marry her. That's the end of that sugya. You know, in the Mishnah it says that a woman is nikna bekesef. It's one of the kinyanim. That's what we do today. How much kesef? Beisil say a pruta, Beishamai say a dinner. And the question is, why do Beishamai say a dinner? Pruta's everywhere. That's the shear usually. But why do Beishamai pick a dinner? So we have a number of reasons. Reb Zera says that a woman is makbid. It's not proper for her to say, I value myself at a pruta. She values herself at more than that. But that's only when a woman accepts Kiddushin at night or through a shliach, then you need a dinner. But what if she saw what it is? She saw that her chassan gave her a pruta and she accepted it. Of course, it's a good Kiddushin. And that will explain also the daughters of Yanai, the little bit of Mfunakim we could call them, they only accepted 3 kav of golden coins. Well, if they accepted less, they accepted and it's a good Kiddushin. Rav Yosef said the reason is because when the Torah says kesef, the Torah means kesef tsuri, which means silver. We're not going with the pruta. Pruta is nechoshes, it's copper. Rav Shimon Lakish says that we learned this idea from an amma. A Jewish slave, the halacha is that if you purchase a Jewish slave, an amma ivriya, let's say you purchase her for 6 years for 600. So that means every year she costs 100. Now she wants to buy herself back after 3 years, so she prorates it and gives you back 300. You have to have the ability to do that. That's called giroyin kesef. And if you don't have the ability to prorate, then it's not a sale. Similar to yiyud. Yiyud is that you can marry this amavriya, you can give her over to your son. If you don't have the ability to marry her, then you can't purchase her. How do you not have the ability? Let's say she's your sister, so you cannot purchase your sister. Now, in order to do giroyin kesef, you have to start off at a higher number. You can't start off at the lowest. If you start off at a pruta, you can't go lower than that. There's no money lower than a pruta. So you must start off at a dinner. But why a dinner? Maybe 2 prutas, maybe 10 prutas, but why a dinner? Says Rashi, once the Torah says we're not using a pruta, the Torah is telling us they have to use something important, like a dinner. Rava has another reason. The reason why Bishami say you use a dinner, Shalayu b'nais Yisrael hefker. You cannot treat the Jewish women as hefker. According to Beis Hillel, any time the Torah says a very specific amount of kesef, so it's tsuri. It means silver. For instance, the 5 shekel of Pidyon Ben, the 30 of a slave that gets killed by an ox, the 50 of Einis Mefata, the 100 of Motzi Shemra. Ravasi adds, and he says that when it comes to the Rabbanon kesef, it means kesef medina, which is an eighth of what we're talking about, the eighth of a tsuri. For instance, when a person blows his friend's ear off, he ruins his friend's hearing, and for the boishes, he has to pay him a sela. The Gemara tells us in the beginning of the Amud, we're going to talk about it here just for a moment, that when it comes to shvua of moed b'miktsas, that is, a person admits to part of the claim. Somebody claims against him, you owe me 100, and he says, I owe you 5. How much does the claim have to be? How much does the admission have to be? So the Machlokes Rav and Shmuel, if it's the admission that has to be 2 mois, or the claim has to be 2 mois. But it has to be 2. And that's very interesting, because the Torah says, kesef, but in this case, since it's kalim, the Torah talks about kalim, and kalim is plural, so we say it's 2. Rabboisai, have a wonderful day.